I wanted to make a quick video for our Filipino friends in the Philippines, and I just wanted to, and I mean I just can't. I've been, when I was in 1983, when I was in third or fourth or about second grade in 1983, I went through Hurricane Alicia, and the winds on that sucker was, well, when it hit Galveston it was about 130, but by the time it got to Houston the winds were about maybe 100, 110. In fact, it was so big that we went through the eye of the hurricane, and boy, that dude was, that was a rough storm. But I can't even imagine what, did you know the storm, this hurricane, was the equivalent size, one end of the hurricane to the other was from, I think it was the tip of New York to all the way down to the tip of Texas. That's how big this thing was. This thing was a massive typhoon. Typhoons, the differences between a typhoon and a hurricane is they've got more warm water to accumulate to a bigger size, I think is what it is. And hurricanes spin this way. Typhoons, well, this way, there, and this way, the other way. But the differences between a hurricane and typhoons, they spin in different directions, and typhoons, I think, get stronger than hurricanes. But anyway you look at it, they're the same thing. They spin the same way, and they accumulate the same way, and they thrive in warm water. And when a hurricane gets in cool water, it slows down, and when it gets in warm water, it speeds up and gets larger. And they work pretty much the same way, just the water currents move in different directions in the Pacific Ocean than they do in the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico and so on. But enough of that. This video I want to dedicate to those people in the Philippines, and probably a lot of the people in the Philippines right now are not watching this video, and if and when you ever do, I'm very sorry that you had to go through that hell, and we love you, and the United States and all of the United States citizens here will support you. And you know, I've heard the Marines are going down there to help out and stuff, and that's what I love. I am so proud of those who help others, and especially in those circumstances. And I used to work at Compact, and I used to have a lot of friends, and even my supervisor was a Filipino. They are very friendly people, and they are very, very cordial, and they're just, they kind of remind me of Latin people, real friendly, you know, just outgoing and beautiful people, and if I could go there, I'd help out and do whatever I can, and especially if my place were to be blown down or torn apart and stuff like that. The first thing I'd do is I would help out all my neighbors around me. You know, if I survived, I was okay, and everything was destroyed, I would just help out as much as I possibly can. I would not just sit there and just watch things. I would help out as much as I can, and I certainly, I just want to say, I just hope the casualties won't be as much as some people may predict. But God bless them, and as an American, we love you, Philippines, and I hope you make it out okay, and and God is watching out for you. I always believe in God. God's, if I were to die, before I end this video, I'm a Christian, and the one thing that makes me, this is good. All right, I'm going to say this. When I die, I'd like to know I go to a safe place in heaven. I have accepted Jesus Christ in my heart, and I accept Him as my Lord and Savior, and I just think it's very important for me to know God, because if I didn't have God, I wouldn't, and I die, I would be afraid of death. Okay, I'm going to say it this way. I would be afraid of death if I didn't know I wasn't going, if I wasn't going anywhere. So to have faith and to know God is the best thing for us. So if I were in the Philippines and I lost everything and I died, or or something like that, I would want to be a Christian. To believe in something, to have the best knowledge of anything of life when we die. Being a Christian is our best knowing that when you die that you could be going to a better place than we are now. That's what I believe in. That's what I was taught when I was a kid, and during times like that, that's what I would want to be. That's the kind of faith I would want to understand and believe in. So anyway, I don't mean to prolong. Sometimes I've been known to make my videos a little longer than usual, but God is watching out for each and every one of us, and especially for the Philippines. And sometimes we ask ourselves, how can we believe in God when something like that could happen? I mean, that's just. And I was talking a little earlier about how strong the storm was. 190 mile an hour winds, and excess winds of 235, wind gusts at 235 miles an hour. Man, that's hell on earth right there. I mean, cars are being lifted up. A tornado, the winds go up. A hurricane, the winds go this way. If it goes this way, tornadoes go up. Tornadoes are more powerful because they push things up, whereas a hurricane pushes things forward. But even things that, 150, 200 mile an hour winds like that, I mean, nothing can last winds. I mean, I weigh about 165 pounds, and if something blew me at 190 miles an hour, I'd be, I would be dead. No, but I think the worst thing about storms is the debris. I've been through a hurricane at 120 miles an hour. You could stay outside because the subdivision we lived in, all the houses were spread apart. But God bless you, the Philippines, and I hope you guys y'all just take one step at a time, okay?